Go.
Hi, Daryl here from FastTrackPiano.com, where you can learn piano. Yay! And today we're doing the third lesson in the beginner course. So if you're an absolute beginner, this is your third lesson. Go back to lesson number 1 though if you haven't done 1 and 2. Okay, so what are we doing? I'll just quickly go over what we did in lesson number 1 and 2. Lesson number 1, we learnt a bit about the right hand, these 5 notes down here. You got 2 black notes, 3 black notes. Here's C, D, E, F, G. You put your right hand there, and we learnt to play the Saints Go Marching In. C, D, E, F, and G. In lesson number 2, we learnt a little bit about the left hand, how to play some chords. If we put our hand down here, that's called a C chord. If it goes here, that's called D minor. That's F, and that's G. And they were the 4 chords that we used in The Saints Go Marching In. Go back to 1 and 2 if you haven't done it. Today, though, we're going to do more for the right hand. Instead of just playing these 5 notes, you might notice that there's a lot more. We're going to learn a little bit more about the right hand. And we're going to use a song called Denny Boy, which is up here. And it's going to help us out here. Now, let's just have a look at this. Here's Denny Boy. Now, we've got the treble clef, which means it's for the right hand, and this very first note here is sitting underneath the line. That note there is middle C. We know that note. But what is this? Well, it's underneath a C, so let's have a look down here. Here's C. The note is that. That's a B. So I'll just draw a B for you. Here we go. There it is. It's a B. So there's a new note for you. If we just play down, put it down here. Here's C, here's B. And that's the first note of Denny Boy. If we come back up to the music, you got C and D and E, D, E. Uh-oh, here's a note you haven't done before. This is in the second space. Now that note is A. If you come down here, here's C, D, E, F, G, A. We only go up to G, doesn't go to H. That's A right there. So, how do we draw an A? Well, if we come up here, it's in the second space. That's an A. So that's your second new note that you've learnt today. If I just play it down here, C, D, E, F, G, A. Right, so looking at Denny Boy again, there's the A. You learnt that note before, that's G, that's E, that's D, C. Uh-oh, here's a new one. We've got 2 lines this time. Now this is lower than the very first note we learnt over here, which was B. It's down 1 more. So if we look down here on our keyboard, here's B. It's an A. That's what it is. It's an A. So I'll just draw it on the piece of paper here. This is a low note. We'd need 2 extra lines. A. Now we did an A just a while ago. Now we don't want to get confused here. We've got 2 A's. There's an A and there's an A. Now this A here is low. It's down here. And the other A is up here. And it looks like that. It's up high. So, you've got 2 different A's. Now we can play the first line of Denny Boy now. We know all the notes. We learnt some new ones. B and A. And low A. So if I try and play it on the piano down here, watch my hand. Oh, Denny Boy, the pipes, up to A, the new note. The pipes are cold. And the last note is low A, down there. So your new notes are B and A and high A. And you can do the first line of Denny Boy. Now we'll just look at Denny Boy again. Now the second line hasn't got any new notes in it. We know everything. Hey, hey. The next line hasn't got any new notes in it. We can work that out. The next line Hasn't got any new notes in it, so we're doing really well. Just from that first line, we're able to do the first 4 lines. Now we'll look at the next line. Okay, we have a problem. There. 2 notes. Those 2 notes there. Now that note there is cut in half by the middle line. That is a B. Now some people use a little saying. You have the 5 lines, and the saying is, every good boy deserves fruit. Every good boy deserves fruit. So, every good boy. So that's a B for boy. How do you play that on the piano? Well, if we come down here, we've got to play, there it is. That's a B for boy. So that's a new note on the 5th line of Danny Boy. That's a B. The other B we learnt earlier was down here. So now we've got that B there. Now what does that look like written down? Over here to the piece of paper. There it is. That's a B. There it is. That's a B. Okay, now we said there was another note here we had to look out for. This one here in the second top space. That's only 1 up from the B. So, common sense would tell you 1 up from B is C. So, I'll draw it for you here. Now, we're doubling up a little bit here, but I think the more we do it, the more it might sink in. That's a C, yes? A high C. How does it go on the piano? Well, that's high B, and there's high C. Okay. So we've learnt quite a few notes here. That was the 5th line of Danny Boy. Now back up to the music. The next line. Nothing new. We've got B, C and 2 B's there. We learnt them up here. Looking at the next line. Wow, there's one right up high. Now that's in the top space. And the faces have got a little saying too. There's only 4 spaces. The spaces actually spell a word. F-A-C-E. Face. F-A-C-E. And this is the top space. So it's F-A-C-E. It's an E. It's an up high E. And this is how you play it. Here's middle C. D-E. That's an E, but it's the wrong one. We've got to go, wow, right up here to this E here. So that's up an octave. That's the highest note in Danny Boy. That one there, E. And what does it look like written down? Well, we just said it's in the top space. So, let's draw it. There it is. E. Okay, now getting back to the music. The only note we have to learn now is that one there. Now this is 1 note below E, so 1 letter below E is D. That's a D. Now back down to the piano. Here's high E, the highest note of Danny Boy. And this is D. So that's D and that's an E. What does it look like? Okay. That's a D. Now, you've learned a lot of notes there, so maybe you can play Danny Boy and reinforce everything. There's several ways you could remember all this. There's 5 lines, and the lines are, every good boy deserves fruit. Yes, Daryl, you need one more. Every good boy deserves fruit. They're the lines. And on the piano, it looks like this. Every good boy deserves fruit. There they are. Now, the spaces, there's only 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the spaces spell a word. F-A-C-E spells face. What does that look like on the piano? Here's C, D, E, F. Face is there. F-A-C and E. F-A-C and E. Okay, now, there was a lot there. Play the video again. If it was too much, just play it again and watch it again and take it in. Now I'll just go through the notes that you learnt today. Okay, there was quite a few. The pipes are calling. Rightio. Now the first note you learned was B, down here below middle C. Here's middle C, and here's that B. And that's the first note of Danny Boy. The next note you learnt was, oh Danny Boy, the pipes, the... On the word the, it's an A, and that's what an A looks like there. Pipes are calling. Goes down to low note there. That's a low note, the last note of the first line. And this is what it looks like. That's an A, that A there. From glen to glen and down the mountainside, find the summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. You know all that? 'Tis you must go and I must bide. Okay, here's some new notes on the fifth line. But come ye back. Right, here's a new note, B, the third line. But come ye. There it is, that's the B, that one there. Back is the next note. See? When summer's in the meadow, da 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 da. Now that high note, ba. There it is. It's high E, part of the face business, F-A-C-E. Da 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 da. Also up high was a D. Da 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 da. D. There it is. Da 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 da. Oh, Danny Boy, oh Danny Boy. Yes, so I think we've gone through it all now. Danny Boy. So have fun playing Danny Boy.